trending topics on X. But again, we are sending out prayers for any of the Graham family and also for the Mitch McConnell family during this time. Now, Mike Lee urges the Senate to pass the Save America Act honoring Lindsey Graham. Okay, nice gesture. And then there was a journalist who exposes potential $190 million in fraud in New York adult daycare. We already know who this journalist is. You know who he is. It's Mr. Nick Shirley. He confronted staff at Flushing Queens facility with federal data showing massive billing mismatches, like Sunshine Senior Services claiming $12.9 million for over 7,000 enrollees it didn't have. You had that's close to 8,000 people or 7,900 people, 7,899 enrollees that you didn't have. What? Joined by Dr. Oz, who called the area an epicenter. Shirley's probe points to over 190 million in potential fraud across New York adult daycares via inflated attendance and kickbacks. The state audit backed similar issues with 285 million in questionable payments, fueling federal charges and calls for tighter Medicaid oversight in programs serving seniors with meals and activities. And the thing about it is, this isn't state, this is federal. See, when you deal with the federal dollars, this is a totally different ballgame. So I know a lot of people are like, well, they can do what they want to do. No, they can't. Like even in California, this whole Stop Nick Shirley Act. Okay, you've brought a bigger spotlight on your state. And I think they pulled some of their federal funding, which they can. If they find out there's any fraud anywhere, the federal government does not have to send money to any of these programs ever. They're not obligated to, which I don't understand it. But yeah, the gravy train is stopping. I'm just saying, gravy train is like, So Mick Jagger, he prioritizes fun over politics at concerts. Well, I appreciate you. He's still alive. Yes, he's still alive. He's still touring with Rolling Stones. And I appreciate that because a lot of times people are like, well, if you support this person politically, I'm not coming. You know what? Stay home. Just at this point, just stay home. There are other people that don't care and want to get out and have fun. They really don't care what everybody else's political views are. They're like, that's who you voted for? Well, this is who I vote for. We're good? Yeah, let's go. Let's have fun. Like, you're being weird, okay? This shouldn't even be a thing, but it is. But I'm glad that he focuses on having fun and not politics, which means he's not bashing anybody and he's not praising anybody. He's just focused on the music, which is awesome. Oh, something just popped up. It'll refresh like that, you guys. FBI expands review of Fulton County 2020 election records with nationwide analyst push. Okay. And then Manhattan rents hit 5,295 record as NYC affordability crisis deepens. And it's not going to get any better because if you have more people, then you have housing. That's going to raise the rents. And that's what's happening right now. So either you got to build more, which I'm thinking, and then there are going to be some people who get deported, but I don't think to the degree where it's really going to change the pricing, but they need to build or refurbish, right? So that people have a place to live, so there's more competition, so the rents will actually lower, because if there's more competition, right, then people have to compete for your dollars. It's real simple. Maybe I'm making it more simple than it sounds, but it's really, really interesting. So the next thing I wanted to get into is just a few topics here on all sides. So the EU allows tech companies to read citizens' private messages despite majority vote against it. Huh? They're wild. But see, things that okay, how should I say it? It's been happening. We all know it's been happening. Every time there's a breach, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I just want to make an excuse to tell us, oh, there's been a breach, because we already know you have access to our information. We already know you've been doing this for years. There was like a whole thing with Google doing this a long time ago. So what are we talking about? you want to spy on people, which is illegal, especially when there's no reason to. It's very crazy, very insane. Israeli officials tell the U.S. that Iran plans to assassinate Trump. I think he's well aware of that, right? And bipartisan housing bill to become law despite Trump's refusal to sign. And I think, I don't know, it's what the bill is, but they need it signed. And I was like, well, he said he's not going to sign anything. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be interesting. I'm just trying to go through this. Okay. Because I know they were thinking about attaching it to a funding bill, which would be silly. But the SAVE Act as restrictions on voting, right, to prevent non-citizens from voting, that's the one he wants to sign. So the one he doesn't, that he's refusing to sign, I thought that was going to like put some clamps on him as far as what he could or couldn't do with the conflict that's going on in Iran and stuff. So the House and Senate voted to pass the legislation. Okay. Trump said he was refusing to sign and protest the Senate over Senate not passing the Save America Act. Okay. So the housing bill. Okay, that's what it was. I was like, I know it was the housing affordability bill. Gotcha. So he's like, I don't want to. And they're like, we're going to pass this anyway. Even if you don't. I'm like, how are y'all can't just pass stuff in the laws. You need the president to sign this. Like, that's weird. Okay, y'all. I'm just reading through it, not really out loud. So we can contextualize housing costs. Housing costs are out of control. That's how I'll contextualize it. It's ridiculous. And you need to fix it. Okay, so the legislation is a marquee election integrity bill that primarily includes many outlets. Okay, well, we'll see. They say that they're able to pass it and it becomes law despite. To become law is not saying that it has actually become law. Just because they've passed something, he still has to sign it into law. Like, y'all can't just overrun him. Like, they're just weird. I'm sorry. Like, we do have some checks and balances. You might not like it, but we do have checks and balances. So the next thing that I wanted to get into is, I think I put it up here. I might not have. But with the whole Lindsey Graham thing, there was a situation where there wasn't a mandate for Congress to actually get the injection. So I didn't bring that up, but I wanted to just highlight that. That was another thing as well. He decided to take it, but they weren't mandated like soldiers and nurses and other people out there. And I found that one fascinating. I was like, why wouldn't they be mandated to take it? Why are they exempt when they're the ones pushing that everybody should get this? Nobody questioned those things. I was completely questioning it, like, this is weird. This is so, so weird. So now the next thing that I wanted to get into that somebody brought to my attention is the DOJ and the Civil Rights Attorney Class of 2026. Now, a lot of people may have already heard about this. It was something that somebody brought to my attention last night. But apparently, this is from 𝗧𝗢𝗡𝗚𝗓, and the Civil Rights Division at the Justice Department is growing. Honored to swear in 100+ new attorneys and staff to our ranks today. These civil rights warriors will enforce our nation's laws to benefit all Americans, not just a select few. It's a privilege to have them on board. Now, before we get into it, let's understand, why do we have civil rights in the first place? Oh, yeah, it was put in 1866. And why was that? Oh, yeah, because the emancipated slaves weren't considered human beings, but they needed some form of civil rights to exist in the country. At that point, they still weren't considered citizens, by the way. Just need people to know that. Just need people to know that. Emancipated slaves